Hi, and welcome to the R2RB Indie Artist Podcast. And today I have with me Chris Mitchell, aka BoneLocker. And Chris, thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Not bad for a Monday night. So I
Yeah.
always like to ask two questions to get us warmed up. And the first one is, if you were stranded on a deserted island, what three things would you want with you?
That's a tough one. So probably an instrument of some sort. But now that I'm thinking about it, if I was on an island, I could probably craft some instruments out of, trees or coconuts or
True.
something. So, but an instrument of some sort, probably a guitar, probably want something to write on, which I'm sure I could make as well. But on a desert island, I would want an instrument and probably at least one other person, probably my wife.
Oh,
That would be
nice.
nice if we can say people.
Right?
And probably some type of hunting implement, either a spear or a knife or a gun or something, because I'm sure I could make something also, but it probably would not be very good.
I like those. I like those. Yeah, those would definitely work. All right. And let's see. What's your favorite app on your phone and why?
Probably favorite app is GarageBand, and just because it's really cool for recording. And then I actually just started using it. I've used it for years on my Mac, and when I went to school, we used that when I was in college for recording and sound and stuff. But I've always been an Android guy, and within recent years, I have gotten an iPhone. Also, actually, have both now, so I use GarageBand on my iPhone, and really was kind of a huge inspiration for the previous album that I put out, and a lot of the songs and ideas came from that. So just anything from, like, I hear a chord progression in my head that I like, I can just pick it up and program the chord progression, or play they have a little touch guitar you can strum on there, or just pluck it out on the piano. That, and then also they've got like loops galore, that drum beats and other instruments, that just listening to those and starting from maybe a drum beat and hearing a song come from that. It's just been really, I've got probably 100 to 200 just like either full songs or ideas on the iPhone in the GarageBand. So it's
Oh,
been
wow.
really fun and inspirational. Kind of a new way to think about songwriting than just picking up a guitar and playing.
Yeah, because I've asked the question to other indie artists about, what happens with all the ideas and the music that runs through your head? How do you get something quick enough to write it down? And so for you, it would be GarageBand.
Yep.
That's really cool. And then being an Android and then an iPhone. Do you prefer one over the other?
Well, I mean, I use Android for basically everything else,
I
and I tried finding an app on Android that was comparable, and there are a couple. They just aren't as intuitive and don't work as well as GarageBand. So,
Okay.
there's a website and an app called BandLab, and it's pretty cool because it has a lot of the same features, and it has loops, and you can collaborate with other people on that as well. But
It's pretty
for
cool
me,
because when you
GarageBand
think,
just,
yeah, that's really cool because when you think about it, with growing up and what not me personally, but what the musicians would use back, in the 60s, 70s to,
yeah,
put it all together. And here we are now. You can pick up your phone and put a whole song together.
yep.
It's amazing. Oh my God. Well, I really have to look into that one myself. All right. So, Chris, you are a singer-songwriter, but I want to ask the question about BoneLocker, the name of your band project. Project band,
Yeah.
what would you call it?
I mean, so I started it with something other than my name because for a couple reasons. One was because there are several other musicians that are already somewhat popular with my same name. And so the goal was, and there's so many bands and groups and musicians right now. It's like easier than ever to record something and get it put out there, just like you said, compared to previous generations.
Yes.
So I started it as like a solo project, but with a band name, so that way if it grew in the future, it could be a group of people, not just under my name.
Okay. And then the name itself, BoneLocker.
Piggybacking what I said about trying to find a name that not already 10 other bands have, which is very hard. I started just looking at different things. I was looking up old English things. I was looking up, names in other languages for certain things, trying to find something that kind of struck me. And I had a list of several, and I found this article that was like 10 old English terms we should think about bringing back or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And there were several in there that I thought were kind of cool, but then there was one that was BoneLocker. And except in the old English, it was like BANLACKA, BoneLocker. Is, I guess how they would have said it.
Right.
So, but it was a term for the human body. So we are just like a locker full of bones. It's basically all it is, just holding our bones in. And I was like, that's kind of cool. And more I thought about it, I was like, that's, kind of all we are, is just like a physical shell holding together our skin and bones and muscles, but so much deeper inside, with our soul and our spirit and our mind.
Oh, wow. I know there are some unusual names of band soloists, but this one, I really like that one. That one I will have to bring up on a trivia night or something, because I know I've never heard of it before. I know I had read something about it, about you, with the bones. And I couldn't remember the other night. I was like, I know it's something to do with the bones and a box or the physical or so. Yeah, no, that's really, really cool.
And I I was thinking about other kind of folk artists that have, that are solo mostly, but have kind of band names, like City and Color is one. And then Iron and Wine is a really popular one. That's basically one guy. When it came out, it was just him, so I was thinking about that, I could still just be me and I go under the moniker, but if it grows to be a band,
right.
It's not just the Chris Mitchell band.
There you go. No, that definitely works either way. That's great. I like that. All right. So your musical background starts way back when you were young. In fact, you come from a musical family, correct?
I do. Yeah. So my grandparents played instruments, aunts and uncles, everybody. And I started singing in church with my parents and my sister. My sister's about 7.5 years older than me. So as early as 5 or 6, we'd all sing specials at church together.
That's so cool.
So that, and then the whole family, when we'd get together for holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I have three uncles. My dad has one of 4. And so we would go to either grandma and grandpa's house or one of the uncles' houses or our house, kind of switching off between Thanksgiving and Christmas while I was younger. And all the uncles and great uncles and aunts and other cousins and stuff played guitar, banjo, mandolin, bass, fiddle. We would have hand drums, djembes from time to time.
God.
So
you had your own. You had your own orchestra.
Pretty much. And my uncles were big into bluegrass, going to bluegrass festivals and playing in the jams and stuff like that. It was really neat. So I'd been to a couple of those, and so just seeing them growing up every holiday and wanting to be more a part of it than just singing along, So.
Oh my gosh. So did you pursue music in school? Were you in the band, orchestra, anything that had to do with music?
Little different. I was homeschooled for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and I went to public school before that. But my mom wanted me to do something, so I just had, music in school before that, but my mom wanted me to do music while she was homeschooling, so she can play a little piano, played trumpet in band in school. So they got me a trumpet and tried that, and I was like, not a big fan. The embouchure and trying to get my lips just right, it was too tough from the get-go. So she's like, well, I know a little bit of piano. We had a piano at the house, or a keyboard, I don't remember which, but she showed me some of the notes and I'd pluck them out, and I was like, still kind of boring, not for me. And so my dad, one of the 4 brothers, he was the youngest and one of the few that actually kind of didn't keep playing guitar as he got older.
Oh, wow.
So when I was 12, he bought a guitar off eBay, And when it came in, he was going to, intend on playing it, and just kind of sat there. And I pulled it out one day, and I remember plucking a couple of the strings. And I was like, that sounds familiar. And on a guitar, if you play D, G, and B, like, you can pluck out a lot of Amazing Grace, dun, 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 dun. And that's what I had ended up playing. And I was like, that sounds really familiar. So just that enough of a kind of catch
Caught you.
Yeah. And I liked the way it sounded. I liked the way it felt holding it, and,
Right?
feeling it resonating on your chest when you're playing guitar. It just really struck me. And so I got about a month of lessons from a guy that played at our church, and then went myself through the rest of the book that he had me start, learning the notes. And since I was homeschooled and the internet was, still pretty new,
Right.
that would have been late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Or late 90s, I guess. And I just like a sponge, started looking up music theory articles and anything I could learn about guitar. If YouTube would have been around back then,
You would have been on it.
for learning. Yeah, I would have. But yeah, just reading articles and tabs and all that stuff just really kind of
So you got the bug.
started back then.
Now, did you go to public school then after what, sixth grade?
I did. I actually went to a private school then from 7th to when I graduated, and it was a private Christian school. So they had a pep band, and it was really bad. It's not a very good band.
Oh, no.
So I was not excited about being in that because I played guitar and I thought that was way cooler anyway.
Right.
I wish I would have played now. I would like to be able to play some band instruments, but
No.
we actually had devotions every Tuesday.
Okay.
And when I came to the school, I joined the worship team, and we would have worship practice basically as our music class,
There you go.
and learn new songs and work together and stuff like that. And then we'd lead worship at our devotion on Tuesday.
Oh, nice. Oh, I like that. And were you in any bands outside of that later on or during?
I was. So at about 14 or 15, I joined a couple bands. Some kid down the street got a drum set, and then a friend of his got a bass guitar, and we started a punk band. So
that's where you got your start with the punk.
pretty much, we mostly played, Blink 182 and MXPX, and we wrote a couple songs. That was fun. We went by Felix. That was the name that we had then. My cousin actually played drums, and so the first drummer kid kind of got phased out, and my cousin joined, and we still went under Felix. And then we actually played quite a bit of original music, played some shows around Clovis, New Mexico, where I grew up. And then when I was about 15, we got a new pastor, and from California, and his son played guitar and drums and bass and stuff. And he'd actually recorded some stuff in California.
Oh, wow.
With a teacher that he had at school. So when he moved, I was like, man, this guy plays guitar. We need to get together. So I actually started playing drums. He kind of taught me how to play drums.
Oh, cool.
Some basic beats and stuff, because he started as a drummer. And I taught him some stuff on guitar. And he
Oh, there you
go. Make sure I was playing the right stuff on drums. So we got together and called that Fever Dream. That was we were kind of more of a grunge, heavier metal kind of band. We actually recorded like 3 or 4 CDs.
Oh, wow.
Together. I got a little
Go
recorder
you.
for Christmas that year, and we bought some Radio Shack microphones, and we just kind of guerrillaed it, and had our little studio in the garage of his parents' house, and
There you go. And I love it. I love how things get started because it's the pathway to where you are now. The Christian music to punk to metal so that brings you to, maybe let's take it to the end of high school. Where did you go from there?
So I graduated, and I had been leading worship at the youth group for our church since I was about 13. About a year after I started playing guitar, I started leading worship for the youth group. And then I started playing in, big church a couple of years later. So I'd fill in from time to time whenever the worship leader wasn't there. So I intended on, that being my vocation, if not one of my vocations. And then, I met my wife, and decided I was going to go to South Plains College, which is here in Levelland, Levelland, Texas.
Texas.
It's only about 70, 80 miles from where I grew up,
Oh, cool.
just across the state line. But big history at South Plains College for country music and bluegrass music. Tom Hall is one of the big ones from this area. Of course, Buddy Holly.
Oh my God, yeah.
Grew up in Lubbock. And kind of funny story about Buddy, real quick, is my uncle played bass with him big before they were Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Wow.
And our family story is actually kind of goes that he wrote Peggy Sue and Every Day and a couple other big hits that Buddy just kind of took as his own. And so my uncle was Don Guess. And so, Buddy, Tom Hall, several other people, Waylon Jennings is from Littlefield. That's about 30 miles from where we are. South Plains College is a really reputable name in like sound and audio production. And the path I chose was commercial music, which is more just kind of like the all-encompassing like business side of it.
Okay.
And some of the recording and some of the live sound and the performance and the writing. There was some of all of it in program. So my wife and I got married. She was going to start school as well. So we both started, took a year off and then started once we kind of got established here. And so went to school for that and it was so much fun.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. Well, being able to talk about Buddy Holly, first of all, you knew them when, that's what I always say to a lot of indie artists, I know you now and you are going to go places and don't forget us.
Yep.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Okay. So then did you and your wife, is that when you started singing together, writing together? How did that come into play?
Yeah, so she sang as well growing up. And once we got together, she was singing in church and stuff, and she'd sing in the worship band. And I actually taught her to play drums.
Oh, wow.
And so she started playing drums in the worship band while we were in high school together too. So that continued. Once we got married, she played drums at the first church that we went to that I started leading worship at there in Levelland as well, and would sing with me and stuff. I don't know. I think the writing started... I had written songs, like I said, we had originals when I was 14 or 15.
So you've been writing for quite a while.
Yeah. And I think she probably wrote poetry and stuff like that too. So I would get stuck and be like, hey, can you think of a line for this or help me finish this? Which I still do, so we started writing. And I think, one of the ones that we have under Opportune is Sovereign God. And that's one of the first ones that we wrote together.
Beautiful song.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And, that one, we just it was super quick. I don't even remember. I think I had the When I'm on the Mountain, You Ran on High, When I'm in the Valley, You Saved My Life. And then I kind of showed that to her and the progression I was thinking of. And she just is like, keep playing that. And so I'm playing and, she's here and we wrote it in 5 or 10 minutes, just fleshed the whole thing out. And
I think that's just so awesome when you get a singer-songwriter and another singer-songwriter that are able to collaborate that well that you don't even have to think about it, that the two of you just blend it together and then it all comes together.
Yeah. And she'll, the one He's on the Throne, the most recent one we put out, which has been about a year. We've got several other songs that we've written, just finding the time for both of us to sit down. She was going to finishing a cosmetology degree and started working, and I'm working, and so finding the time where both of us can sit down and dedicate a good amount of time to get it tracked is tough. But
it is tough.
He's on the Throne. That most recent one that we did, I don't remember. We were on the way back from somewhere. She was driving back, and she dictated it to my daughter who was in the passenger seat. She's like, "I got an idea for a song. Write this down."
Start writing.
And then she came home and showed it to me, and I was like, "This is great." So I just sat at the piano and started, playing that, and
that is amazing.
One of the best that we've done together. So.
Oh my God, yeah. So, what was the first? Which song that you first put together?
For me and Jessica was Sovereign God.
Sovereign God. Okay, yeah, I've listened to that one. That's a beautiful, beautiful one too. So, how did you come about with Opportune then?
We've kind of gone under that name for a while. I think the Facebook we started back in 2008. And I just kind of had that idea for the name. And it was another one where I kind of a play on words, tune, opportune, I kind of had a tagline, the right tune at the right time. And so a little cheesy, but
Hey, it works.
so on our either I think SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, we did some stuff under Opportune for that. I recorded a whole album. It was like 8 songs back in, I don't remember when. It was probably mid 2010s, maybe 2015, something like that,
Okay.
2016. Had about 8 songs on there, had Sovereign God on there and a couple other ones. That one's on, I believe that's on our SoundCloud. And then we had done Christmas albums. We started giving those as gifts to our family as well. So
Oh, how
we'd record
cool.
5 or 6 Christmas songs and, package it and give it to family members along with a gift or, as
Uh,
when times were tough, maybe our only
right.
gift.
Yeah, but that's the
And
best gift. That's awesome,
I
right?
hope
Oh,
so.
oh my God, I think
So
so.
one of those is on, I think, SoundCloud as well. It's called The Manger. We put out
Okay.
a Christmas album called The Manger, and I just decided to put it out. It was before I really knew how easy it was to just distribute to everywhere,
It's a full-time
CD,
job,
maybe
though.
SoundCloud. What's that?
It's a full-time job distributing and putting, your recordings
Oh
out,
yeah, yeah.
right?
I had to carve out time just to upload all the songs and the lyrics and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes of your passion with, you and your wife with the music, just to then finally get it out to everybody else on the airwaves and everything. Um, During that time, were you thinking about going and doing BoneLocker, or where did you take the turn for to leave? Not to leave because you haven't left her, thank God. But to turn over to BoneLocker.
within the last couple years, being on Facebook, and I joined like a GarageBand users group on Facebook once I kind of started getting more into GarageBand. And I just saw so many people that like every couple weeks or every month, they were like, I got a new song. What do you think? I got a new song. What do you think? And there were people that were, releasing this stuff and getting thousands, if not tens or hundred thousands of plays
Mhm.
on their music. And there were several that I was like, this really isn't that great. Like some of them, I was like, man, these people are putting stuff out. And, um, I'm not doing anything with the things that I've written before, the things that I'm writing now. I've got notebooks full of stuff that I've written from time to time or little voice notes, like I said. So it was kind of that partnered with GarageBand on the phone and just more of just capturing those ideas as they come. I had like a bunch of songs and song ideas that I was working through. And, Opportune is more kind of worship and
Mhm.
and you can kind of hear that from the ones that I put out. I think You Will Never Leave was the first one that we put out under Opportune. And that one was pretty much me because I was still working with recording and stuff and figured out how to get GarageBand on the computer to work well for me. So You Will Never Leave is basically just my guitar and me
Studio.
and then a guy that played drums for me. So that's a little more folky, kind of more BoneLocker-ish. And then the rest of them that we have are a little more worship, kind of contemporary Christian. And then there's one called Monday that I think is a really fun song. I mean, it's
I
kind
do
of more like
too.
a power pop.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I kind of was trying to figure out like our style, and then I kind of started writing more stuff that was a little more folky. We went on a vacation for about a week, and I one of my goals was to write either a song or part of a song every single day while we were gone for the 5 days. And I wrote 5 songs while
Oh,
we were
wow.
there, and I was like, when I get back, I'm gonna put out an album called Mountain Songs because we'd gone to the mountains. And You Will Never Leave was one of those. The other 4, one of them is on the Road, the previous album from BoneLocker, and they were all real just kind of folky. And I was like, this doesn't really fit with the Opportune style. And so, just as an outlet for those more folky singer songwriting writer type songs, I was like, I'll just start something else and split them and see how it goes.
Well, so far it's going really well.
I think so. I've enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's great. I mean, the Christian side of with you and your wife to be able to collaborate together. And I had trying to think because I read so much sometimes it all becomes a blur. But I knew in the back of my mind I had heard Jessica, something you had written on Facebook, and that's how I found out that there was you and your wife were doing the opportune, and I got to listen to all that. And then to carry yourself over into BoneLocker, into a different genre. Well, I don't know. It is a different genre, right? But it's just, I mean, it's just that both sides of you are just phenomenal.
Thanks.
Yeah, I just think it's always great that you're able to collaborate with, with your wife or your partner, or whoever you're working with, and then to have also, as you have, BoneLocker and that side of you, you have a beautiful voice and your music is beautiful, and bringing it all together.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. I love it. And you do reels on Instagram, you do lives on YouTube, you do all these little things that I don't necessarily see other indie artists doing, but I think it's something that I see with you, really draws attention, which that's what you want to yourself. But it's not like in your face. You always have such a very calming aspect about yourself, and you're explaining things and you're sharing your music. Did that come easy to you?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it definitely takes some work, and really in these modern times, without record labels, and as much as so many artists are just completely independent, from a bunch of other content creators that I've seen, I mean, that's a job these days, content creation.
Yeah.
You're an influencer,
Right.
and you just make videos every couple days or once a week and upload them. I think in the independent music space, you have to be a content creator as well if you want to have any kind of attention. And, if you don't have money to be spending to be paying for ads all the time, then you got to work on videos that catch people's attention, or posts that catch people's attention. And the ones, doing some research about that and things that catch people's attention, the one that I found that most people like is when they get something out of a video. Of course, everybody loves the funny cat videos and, people falling and things like that. And there's the viral videos that catch people's attention, and it's, just something crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Something crazy that happens, or a guy that I saw, I don't remember his name. He was like doing really good at this, and he had this song coming out, and he had this series of reels where it's just him and his guitar plugged into an amp, and he would play a part of the song, and then it would like transition to him somewhere else. Like he was on I remember the elevator doors were closing as he's playing this, and then the elevator doors open and he's like outside in the backyard playing.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
cool.
like a beach party going on, and it was something that was like, oh, that's really neat. But more than that, what I saw being successful was when the audience gets something out of it. It's not just, oh, cool, that's a neat song.
Correct.
But it's something that they can be like, oh, I learned something from that. Or,
Exactly.
oh, I appreciate that. So I kind of, within the last couple months, I started doing some, music education or guitar education along with the songs that I was doing. Every couple reels I'd have promoting a song or me singing a song. And then one that I did was when I played my guitar in what's called Nashville tuning. And that is on the first song, The Fires Within, from the new album. There's a guitar in there that's layered in that's in Nashville tuning.
Oh my God.
And
amazing.
I got I think it's close to 300,000 views on that video on just Facebook. And it's like 15 or 20 on YouTube. And I got quite a few on TikTok, and I got maybe 10,000 on Instagram. So close to, 500,000 views collectively, which was pretty good for me.
Absolutely.
People get that in a day sometimes.
No.
But it was, getting lots of comments and
Right.
people like, I didn't know what this was. I never heard of this. And so that was kind of the turn point for me. Like, okay, I can do this. I can make a little bit educational, but then I also mentioned my song in there. Like, hey, this tuning is in my new song, The Fires Within. So
I love that. And I love it. I love that. And I'll tell you why. Because Facebook has been making everybody crazy. And it's a discussion I've had before with others. And it's this follow for follow. And that's great because we all do. We all want followers and we all want people to, you all want people to listen to your music. But where you take it to a different level is that personalization. You are sitting here we are, even just like this interview, not that they're going to see you, but you're putting yourself out there. You're saying, okay, this is who I am. I'm just not putting out songs because, just to make the money, which that comes later. But you're giving of yourself. You're showing them your passion. They can see your passion. They can hear you, which I think just takes it to another level that you're able, or we are able, to those who love to listen to BoneLocker. I can really say, gosh, did you catch that where Chris was talking about whatever you might have been talking about, and not. In fact, I really haven't seen. The only other person that I would say, okay, let me take it back, all those words. One of the other people that does that is Centel, who you have worked with, which I just think makes a big difference, because then you really get followers who really do listen to your music, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And, with the views, of course, there's going to be people that are like, oh, that's a cool video, and just automatically click follow.
Of course.
Which, you hope happens.
Right.
And I did. And it was really cool to see that. And I got hundreds of followers from that one video.
Right.
And I did another one, a couple, maybe I think I was trying to do like one a week. So I would do that, and then I would do a couple other reels, and then do a more educational one. And I did one on a different tuning that I used in the song Mountains. And that one got quite a few views too. And I got followers from that. And so that was, the goal. And Jack Conte from Patreon, that started Patreon, which I think is a really cool website and a great idea, has talked about how TikTok kind of ruined the algorithms for Facebook and Instagram, being follower based, where we're going to show you people that you follow. Facebook used to be, like when I use it as my personal Facebook, I used to see friend stuff all the time.
Right.
Now it's, sports,
it's business,
and entertainment, and every other one's an ad.
Right.
And it's showing me content that it thinks that I want to see.
Exactly.
Because of previous interactions I've had or whatever.
Right.
So TikTok kind of turned the whole follower model on its head, and it has this algorithm that says, okay, you follow these people, so we're going to show you people like them that we think you'll like. It's kind of gotten harder to get loyal fans that see you and engage with your content, consistently.
Right. Exactly.
And I was kind of late to the game on TikTok, which I regret, because I was just kind of against it out of principle from the beginning.
It's
because
okay.
of all the silly dance videos and the way people would blow up.
It was crazy in the beginning.
Yeah, people, they're doing a dance and they're getting millions of views, and
10
they're
million.
getting, deals. And then when I started, I was like, this is something, I've just got to be on it. Like, there's so much opportunity for different people on there, a younger demographic.
There you go.
Things like that. So yeah, I think it's hard to get people that are followers that are loyal to not just, click and like on a Facebook post.
Exactly.
But sharing your stuff and really listening to the music. And again, Jack Conte, one of his videos I've seen where he was like, look, you can have 10,000, 100,000, 500,000, million subscribers, whatever. I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically he was like, if you can have this small core of even just 1,000 followers that are loyal, that you engage with on a consistent basis, either through Patreon or now Discord is the big thing. Like, I'm a part of Mark Johnston's Discord, and we play trivia, and everybody talks about song ideas for him to sing on his lives, and it's really fun. And I enjoy that. And if you can get 1,000 like core supporters that are loyal to you, and just think about if you have a Patreon where people pay $5 a month, which is not much, a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
That's it.
It's $5,000 a month coming to your pocket for engaging with a small portion of your fan base.
Absolutely.
And so it's making those loyal subscribers, those loyal fans. That's kind of the difficult thing. And that's why I try to be more personal and engaging in those videos, and not just be like, here's a video of me jumping off a trampoline and breaking my guitar or something.
Yes, and we don't want you to do that.
Because there's nothing personal about that.
Exactly.
what
That's right.
1,000 other people do to go viral.
That's right. And that's why when, we first talked the other day on the phone and you had talked about this, I think so many of the younger indie artists coming on board now, that's all they want is a follower. That's what they want. And then, it's tough for them to do anything else but get the follows and to make any money other and off of social media as well. So yeah, well, and I appreciate you sharing all that because as I said, I've asked this question before because I want to be able to eventually down the road, I think more indie artists like yourself and Sintel and Asphalt Jungle who have perhaps a different perspective on the industry and how you all approach it. I think there needs to be a more round table discussion on that. So we'll have to talk again about that down the road too. Tell us about your first album, which came out in 2023.
Yeah, June 2023. So getting back to when I started this, I wasn't sure the kind of genre direction that I wanted to go because like I said, I started in punk, did some heavy metal when I was younger. And being that was kind of in my formative years, I still enjoy that kind of music and I listen to it quite a bit. So I didn't know what this was going to be. And especially writing on the phone on GarageBand, a lot of it was kind of just more melodies and chord progressions and stuff that could kind of go anywhere.
Right.
And I actually had quite a few that were a little bit more on kind of like the electronic side, but I'm not comfortable with. I don't listen to a whole lot of that.
Right.
A lot of some of the heavier music I listen to has that in there, like maybe industrial, kind of like 9 Inch Nails type sound. Just that heavier kind of distorted electronic sound. But I didn't know that I could kind of faithfully write music in that genre. So what I've always known is just picking up a guitar and singing with it, writing a song. So GarageBand kind of helped spur the process along and get these ideas, but then I kind of brought those over and finished them either at the guitar or piano or whatever. And I've always liked the idea of just having, real instruments in music. I like that a lot. Yeah. And it's kind of more of a struggle in recording because you have all these real instruments that have conflicting frequencies and all this stuff that you've got to kind of mix through. So I kind of felt like it was more of a fun challenge for me. So I decided to go more for like the folk. And I love that too. Everything. Yeah. I listen to a lot of that, and it's pretty popular now. Yep. I think with like Noah Kahan and Bon Iver's come back with a new song that he just put out the other day. So I started writing songs kind of more in that vein, and had 10 or 15 that I was working on, and just was writing all the time. And I finally decided, I got to kind of drill down and figure out what I want on this album. And the more songs I kept writing, they just kind of were more all about kind of like life and looking at the past and living in the past or looking to the future. And I wrote the song The Road. One day I was headed to take the kids to school. And as we were going, we drive east to go towards their school on the highway. The sun was just kind of peeking out through the clouds, like real thin, wispy clouds, and the sun was rising as I'm taking them to school, and it was just peeking out. And so I had that first line, driving into the sunrise. I can't think of it right now. The sun, I'll have to look it up now because it'll bug you. But yeah, so like driving into the sun, I was like, driving into the sunrise, the clouds let the sun peek through, like eyes looking through blinds. I shield mine at the sight of you. So, just kind of the trying to make it a picture of what I saw that time, so the sun's bright when it's coming up and it's peeking through the clouds and it's bright. You put the sun visor down, and then I finished the first verse and I thought it'd be kind of cool to write it kind of about a whole day. So the sunrise is like the beginning of your life, and you continue through life. And now you're in middle age, which is about where I'm at now. And the sun's at high noon and everything kind of seems all right. And it's kind of settled, maybe there's not a cloud in the sky. And then as the sun sets, you're driving into the sunset, and that line I thought was kind of true to life, both when you're on a road trip and then also whenever you are coming to the end of your your life, the driving into the sunset, the drive home always seems so long.
Wow.
And so once I wrote that song, I was like, that's going to be like the title track for this album. And kind of the theme of the whole album is, life, beginning, middle, end. And so like Good Old Days is a song reminiscing about the good old days and times that we had whenever we were kids. And I mentioned in the second verse playing gigs with Joey and Taylor. That was my cousin and the bass player that was in that band, Felix. And then the other one is playing drums with Fever Dream with Matt on the guitar. That was my friend that was in that.
Oh my God.
Talking about where we came from. And then, other songs like Your Last, where that's about a cousin of my wife's that, left us too early and it was just a total surprise, and just like,
Wow.
love the people that you are around and that you love while you're here. And so I noticed the theme of several of the songs that I had written and kind of put them all together in the album as kind of like a package, not necessarily like a
tribute to life. I mean, and I love all that from the beginning of the sunrise to the sunset. We're all on such a journey, and we all sometimes forget to stop and think about it too, where we've started and where we are and where we're going to be. So yeah, I mean, I've listened to this album and it's great and I love being able to now know more of the background of it. Excuse me. And that's one of the things I do like to ask too. It's like, tell me about, where all the inspiration came from. So, that one got me. Once
and
again.
actually, Amazed is one of the other ones that was from those 5 songs that I wrote on the mountain, which that one's more just kind of like about appreciating creation and being out. And so there's still 3 more that are kind of out there that I'm not sure when they'll come out, but
cool. And then your latest album, a year later, just over a year.
Yeah, just a little over a year. So with that, I have learned over the years as well that putting a time limit on things kind of helps. Putting a deadline, or else I'm just going to keep tweaking.
Keep going.
And I'm going to keep adding and be like, oh, banjo would sound cool here, or I could add this here, or this, I've just finished this song. Now I've got to record it and put it on there.
Right.
So once I had finished the road and finished the recording and had the set date, I already had a couple songs that I had either finished or weren't quite done that I thought maybe would go, but didn't make the cut. Not because they weren't good enough, but maybe I didn't finish writing them, like Time, which is on the new album. Still kind of the same thing, like you can see from the road. It's about time and how time escapes us and, live in the now and all that. That was one I was working on at the time of the road and just wasn't quite finished.
Wow.
And so I finally was just like, here's the deadline, cut it off. These are the songs that are going to be on there, finish mixing those. And I said, I want it out around this time. And so that's when that came out. And so I had songs already in the works whenever the road was finished and just continued working on those. And the last couple of years have just been really prolific in writing for me. Maybe it's just looking for it more, or maybe it's just snagging those ideas when they come, which I've heard people say too, like, well, if it's really good, you won't forget it. If it's a really good melody, then it's going to be memorable. Like it's going to be stuck in your head. Right. And I think that's true to a point, but also I have heard a melody and I'll just grab my phone and do a quick voice note or a video or something. And I come back to it later and I was like, yeah, that is really good. I need to do something with that. And I don't know that I necessarily would have remembered it, and there's so much floating around in our heads all the time with busyness and all that. So I think doing that and being more diligent about writing down ideas when they come to me, or singing melodies or playing chord progressions. And I kind of started that at the beginning of this year too. I wanted to try to write like a verse or a chorus or a progression or some part of a song every day. And I haven't necessarily done that. I started pretty strong at the first of the year, but we know how.
That's right. And before we go any further, the name of the album is A Place Called Progress.
Yes.
Right. Let's not forget that part. which is
And
another
just,
absolute beautiful songs on this one as well. Yeah, I like you have a single out. I Gotta Fly. I happen to like that one too.
yeah,
And the single, the song, not the single, but the song that you worked on with Sintel, which was which one?
Faith.
Faith. That was yeah, yeah. How was it working with Sintel?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
I had the core, I had the song done, and I was like, man, I wanted it to really have this, old timey gospel feel with some folk in there, and I was like, Sintel's just got the voice for it. And so I sent him just the basic part of that and said, hey, would you want to sing on this? And I thought he was just going to send me either just the melody or, whatever. He sent me a track, had like 4 different ones. Now in the beginning of that song where it's, it's kind of EQ'd and it's got the old timey kind of piano in there and it's got an organ. And I sang, I think 3 parts myself, bass and then the melody and then a higher part. Wow. And then I had my wife sing a part above that and then a middle part above me as well. And then my daughter actually doubled those parts.
Oh, wow.
As well. So it's got me, my wife, my daughter, and Sintel
on
that first part of
just
the chorus that comes in with that kind of old-timey sound. Just to make it, I was trying to make it sound like a choir.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's
there's probably 30 different tracks just in the intro of mostly vocals. So I sent that to Sintel and was like, hey, here's all these parts. Sing what, let me know what you think. If you want to be a part of it, cool. If not, fine. Cool. I understand. And he sent me that back, a couple weeks later. He was like, sorry for the delay. I was like, that was super quick, and these are great. So I just plugged it in on the intro and then on each one of the choruses.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, very cool.
Really great.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you doing that. Oh, wow. That is really awesome. You want to take your music full time?
That would be the goal. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And, if, and in whatever aspect that is, if I was just a songwriter and nobody ever knew my name, that's fine. Okay. If I could write songs and people say, I like that song, I want to sing it, I'm like, go for it. Let's make a deal. Wow. And you can put your name on it. I just, cool. I want to inspire people. I want to write lyrics that have meaning and that people can connect with and feel, they have something in common with the person that's singing this or the person that wrote this. Right. So if that's what it is, and I can sit and write songs every single day by myself and co-write and make a living,
you'll be a happy man.
Super happy. And if that means that, or if I could just record and I can make enough money from Patreon and Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, the pennies that they give us, and Spotify and Amazon and everything else, I have a big hit song or whatever. Yeah. Cool. That's great. Or, like when we talked earlier, I mentioned Oliver Anthony. If one of these videos that I do or something, one of my songs or videos just takes off and it goes, crazy, then
there you go.
Wants to do.
There you go.
I'll kind of hold on for the ride and hope that it lasts more than a year or so.
I definitely think that you certainly are on your way and you definitely are doing all things the right way. That is for sure with your beautiful music. Let me ask you this question. What advice would you give a new indie artist these days, starting out in the business?
I would say just be genuine. And I think that's something I try to do. Even if it doesn't get you instant popularity or, like that superstar status really quick. I think, Oliver Anthony, he's been himself. He was standing in the woods singing a song outside of his trailer in West Virginia or wherever he's from. WV Radio was the channel that put him out. But, he is one of the most genuine guys and I think has stayed that way. Yeah. And he's said, I don't want people paying, $50 or $100 for tickets to my concerts. I want real people that enjoy my music to be able to come. And I think that really conveys to a consumer, to a fan, whatever you want to call it, be that genuine person and be different. Don't just take on this mold of Taylor Swift or any of the others that throw 4 chords together and sing a simple melody over it. Yeah. That's going to be a hit whenever she puts it out.
Exactly.
And I listened to her most recent album, and I was like, these songs all kind of sound the same, and it's honestly kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
She's a great singer, songwriter, and all that, and a personality as a
Yes.
star.
Yeah.
But be yourself, be genuine, and just work hard at it, and do the best that you can, and go from there.
I like that. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Is there anything else that you'd like to share that I haven't touched on? Like where everybody can find you?
Facebook, Instagram. Facebook's BoneLocker, of course. Instagram, BoneLocker Music, all one word. And TikTok's BoneLocker Music. YouTube, BoneLocker Music. I've got a Patreon you can check out as well. I offer songwriting help for people that are either budding singers, songwriters, or just want to co-write or need some help getting unstuck. I've been doing it for quite a long time. I've got some tips and tricks that can help you.
Oh, I like
so
that.
if you sign up under the $10 tier on Patreon, then we can do a Zoom
cool
thing, and once a month or something like that, work out a songwriting class, I guess, or music lessons, whatever you want to do with the time that I can give you on that. So Patreon, if you want to subscribe to that, I've got Spotify, Amazon, anywhere you listen to music, YouTube Music, all those, you just search BoneLocker, and I'm the only one on there.
Yes, you are. I like that. Absolutely. So I know you just finished an album, but do you have another album in the works, or what's next? What can you share with us?
Yeah. So again, with the finishing of this one, there were songs I was working on that just weren't quite finished or needed some polishing. So I've got 5 written for the next album, like completely done.
Oh, wow.
Not recorded. I'm trying to think of any of those. No, I haven't recorded much of any of those. And I've also decided to put out an album of story songs, which is something that I've enjoyed, with people, Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, John Prine, just storytelling, James Taylor, any of those like singer-songwriters, especially from the 70s and 80s, that just tell a great story in their song. So I have 6 that I've written for like a little EP that I'm going to put out that is all going to be just stories. And it's kind of in 2 parts. The first 3 is songs about family members. And then the next 3 are songs that are stories that are true, but with some embellishments, either things that I have personally experienced or seen, or people that I know that have gone through something. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you a heads up. One of them is called He's Still at War. And I'm going to it's almost done being recorded. And I'm going to put it out as a single on Veterans Day this coming November.
Oh, how cool. Oh, congratulations.
It's going to come out in November. And it's about, a guy that goes to war. I kind of had in my mind, like, Vietnam vets when they came back from the war to so much hate, like totally different than it is now, where I think by and large, most people appreciate the military and their service, which I absolutely do. I've got lots of friends that were in the military. Clovis, where I grew up, Air Force town. And, we had lots of military friends there. Love and appreciate them for what they do. And so this song follows a guy coming back from war, and it kind of alludes to the fact that his wife has left him, comes back to an empty home, and doesn't know what he's living for anymore. War is kind of all he knew. And so the song is, even though, he's home, he's still at war, this war inside of himself. So I'm going to put that out on Veterans Day this year as kind of a tribute to
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Oh my gosh, Chris, you do a lot. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Well, I'm so happy to be able to speak to you and get to know you in this conversation. Because like I said, I followed you for a while, and I've enjoyed your music, and I'm looking forward to the storytelling side of you, because I don't think a lot of people appreciate that part.
Yeah.
So that'd be really cool. And the beautiful song for Veterans Day. Thank you. That really is great. Yeah, that's great. Chris, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I look forward to following you and finding all your reels and TikToks and everything else that goes along with it. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.